Coming up on Naperville News 17, a $250,000 settlement for the family of Corey Walgren, a helping hand stand to fight childhood cancer, and a challenge students can pin their hopes on at Naperville Central. Hello everyone, I'm Kim Pierce. Thanks for joining us for this week's Naperville News. A proposed settlement agreement would require the City of Naperville and Naperville Unit School District 203 to each pay $125,000 to the Walgren family. The Walgrens filed a wrongful death lawsuit after the death of their 16-year-old son Corey in January 2017. Corey died by suicide not long after being questioned by officials at Naperville North High School without his parents present. The lawsuit claims school administrators and a Naperville police officer improperly interrogated their son, violating his constitutional rights. The terms of the lawsuit state that with the agreement, neither the district nor the city would be seen at fault. The settlement will go in front of City Council on September 3rd and will be discussed by the District 203 School Board at their September 9th meeting. Corey's death prompted a new law which requires that a parent, guardian, or advocate for a student be present if they are questioned by law enforcement on school grounds. The DuPage County Board had its first big discussion on recreational cannabis sales. Naperville News 17's Christine Lena tells us the details.
Come January 1st, adult-use recreational marijuana will be legal in the state of Illinois. That led to the DuPage County Board's first major discussion on how the law relates to zoning for potential sales. They have the options to retain the same zoning restrictions for recreational marijuana dispensaries as there are with medical ones, create new restrictions for them, or opt out completely. Initial thoughts from the board were mixed.
There was a study from Harvard that said that regulated cannabis would raise $106.7 billion and earn $58.8 billion in taxes. So you might tell that I would be for doing this in our county.
It's not certain to me what the landscape is going to be in 6 months or even a year on this. My understanding is in the veto session there will be attempts to revisit some of this legislation. And so I would prefer to see us opt out, at least in the short term, to see what our municipalities do, and frankly, to see what Springfield does.
Others asked to get more information before taking a vote.
I share the belief that we need more information. And for that reason, I would suggest that we continue discussions on this matter so that we can have those conversations with the health department in a public forum, can have those conversations with the sheriff.
Medical dispensaries require a 1,000-foot setback from schools, daycare centers, and residential areas. The board learned from the county's Planning and Zoning Administration coordinator that there are 3 potential sites in unincorporated areas of DuPage where dispensaries could be placed based on that regulation. But one site in particular got board members concerned, as it sits just north of Mattia Valley High School's border.
And I'm stunned to see that we would even contemplate allowing zoning in an area that close to a high school, whether the regulations are there or not.
However, the board ultimately agreed to hold a special meeting with law enforcement, finance, and healthcare professionals before deciding whether to opt in or out. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Christine Lena.
The DuPage County Board hopes to make their final decision before November. There's a change coming to the snow day policy at Indian Prairie School District 204. Naperville News 17's Christian Canizal shares why they're being iced off the calendar.
Snow days are looking like a thing of the past for Indian Prairie School District 204 as board members pass ELearning Days. The program will allow students to have at least a 5-hour school day from their comfort of their home when weather is inclement. IPSD looked at nearby school districts' e-learning programs to create their own and explained that students can potentially benefit from it.
We saw some real connections to district priorities around social emotional learning, particularly the aspects of self-management, responsible decision-making, aspects of Portrait for Graduate, including flexibility, adaptability, and communication. Right, those are things that we want from our students as they kind of come through our system, is a chance to practice those in real life.
School officials said if students' coursework on those days will be at the discretion of the teachers. But one parent voiced concerns about the idea of e-learning days.
I feel like this could work amazing in a high school district, but in a community unit school district, I just think the elementary kids are missing out. I think parents still have to take off, and if they have to work from home, and now we're also trying to make sure their elementary school child is doing work. And I just think kids learning happens best in class in front of a teacher.
District 204 officials echo McLeod's sentiments in regards to kids learning best in the classroom and will use e-learning days only when necessary.
This does not mean that we are going to take off more snow days because now we have this option. We still value as a district that it's our teachers in front of our students that are even doing the e-learning days.
The district will still have 5 emergency days available, and if needed, they'll be made up at the end of the school year. For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizo.
The DuPage Regional Office of Education will have to verify 204's e-learning program by September to make it official. After the break, seeing stress relief through new eyes at Edward Hospital.
Gift of downtown Naperville. Treat someone special to a great shopping, dining, or spa experience with downtown Naperville gift cards. Good at more than 150 businesses. Purchase them at 4 convenient locations or online and have them mailed directly to the lucky recipient. Best of all, there's no purchasing fee. Just choose an amount and send. It's that easy. The perfect gift for anyone at any time.
The DuPage Children's Museum held a special after-school event that was all about the teachers. The second annual Teacher Expo welcomed nearly 200 educators, child care providers, PTA members, counselors, and others who work with children for an evening to connect with educational resources in our area.
But in addition to that, there's other great curricular services. There's direct service agencies working with children on the autism spectrum. There's funders who help teachers apply for grants to bring in some of these services and take their kids on field trips. It's that all one-stop shop for teachers to really kick off the beginning of their school year.
50 organizations were positioned throughout the museum for a networking opportunity.
My teachers came last year. I was unable to come, so when it was offered a second time, I thought what a great opportunity to see what's out there.
The event was sponsored by the Mimic Foundation and insurance. Patients at Edward Hospital are getting a new view on how to relieve stress. Our own Christian Kenizal shows us how virtual reality is helping some patients out.
For nurses and doctors, getting a patient to feel better is their goal, and virtual reality can lend a helping hand. Edward Hospital has teamed up with 2 VR companies, Kind VR, who supplies the Naperville Hospital with pediatric goggles, and Applied VR, who helps with other departments, in hopes of reducing a patient's stress and anxiety levels.
I know I'm a little speechless, but it's because I'm trying to take everything in what I'm seeing around me here.
Using a control and goggles, pediatric patients are able to submerge themselves into several different programs, including an underwater journey.
The focus of Child Life is really to make the hospital experience more normal and to help them get through the awkwardness or the fear of being here in a successful way.
Nurses and volunteers help guide participants through the programs they choose, and unlike traditional VR technology, the ones Edward have can be used from the comfort of a bed. Adult patient Chris Kula, who was diagnosed with kidney cancer in 2017, says the experience helps him forget about what he's dealing with.
Even now still I feel calm and relaxed, and I feel at peace. Like, it's the best way to describe it. You know, it's like that burden that a lot of that brings with having to deal with that has been lifted off of me, and at least for a little while I don't have to think about all those things.
Helping Kula temporarily escape reality is his mother, who volunteers at Edward Hospital.
It means a lot that I can actually help Chris and then help other cancer patients.
And Chris is grateful for his mother's help.
it's an emotional thing, knowing that, she's been so supportive through everything, and now here's another opportunity of a way that she could, help me and help other patients too.
Love you. Love you too.
For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizal.
According to Edward, virtual reality therapy has been shown to reduce pain by directing patients' attention into the virtual world, leaving less attention available to process incoming neural signals from pain receptors. Give a hand, take a stand. That's the name of the challenge started by Gift from a Child. Naperville News 17's Casey Krajewski shares how this cancer-fighting campaign came to be.
The Meadow Glens Elementary School climbing wall has 6 paths to the top. With its double overhang, climb number 1 is by far the most difficult. Michael Gustafson completed that climb in 3rd grade, the only kid in class to do it. By the time the rock climbing unit came around in his 4th grade year, Michael was in the midst of treatment for brain cancer.
He was in and out of school, and he was in school, happened to be in school for the rock climbing unit. And Mikey wanted to climb up the double overhang. I was thinking to myself, don't do it, Mikey. Don't do it, Mikey. I don't want you to be whatever. You're dealing with so much now.
But Michael was determined to complete climb number 1. As he lifted his body up hand over hand, classmates and parent aides stopped to watch.
And the kids were cheering. And then when he finally made it to that last pull up over the last overhang, he was tired. He was beat. But he kept going, and he made it to the top. He rang the bell, and the class just went absolutely crazy.
Benyo, an avid marathoner, was so proud of Michael that he gave him the medal he'd received from his first Boston Marathon.
Mikey, being Mikey, comes back to school the next day, and he gives me his gymnastics medal, which, interestingly enough, with this challenge that we're doing, looks as though the gymnastics guy on the medal is doing a handstand.
Handstands were Michael's thing. The nonprofit Gift from a Child is using that as inspiration for their new social media challenge, Give a Hand, Take a Stand.
It was kind of a metaphor for how many families' lives are turned upside down by their child's cancer diagnosis every year.
Gift from a Child is funded by the Swifty Foundation, which was started by Michael and his family shortly before he died at age 15. They're encouraging people to post a video of themselves doing a handstand to promote and raise funds for pediatric cancer. Some high school sports teams are accepting that challenge, including at Michael's former school, Naperville North.
The girls swim team is doing the Give a Hand, Take a Stand challenge, and I reached out to them because I want to get more teams involved here in Naperville North to take the challenge and then challenge other teams within the Naperville community to do it next.
Curing cancer is the obstacle the Swifty Foundation is trying to overcome, just like Michael defeated the wall. Benyo renamed climb number 1 at Meadow Glens Mikey's Mountain and hung up his photo next to it.
When kids are rock climbing, and it's interesting, during rock climbing, they do notice his picture on the wall over here, and they ask me about him, so it gives me an opportunity to tell them about Mikey. He touched a lot of lives. It's definitely mine, that's for sure.
Continuing that spirit of giving, Michael embraced his entire life.
I'm not really sure right now what I'm helping, but my goal is to help as many people as I can.
For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
If you want to participate in Give a Hand, Take a Stand, make sure you tag the Swifty Foundation and Gift from a Child and include the hashtag #HandstandsForCures. Coming up, check out this perfect addition to the Naperville Century Walk. Some local stars are working on their spins, dips, and lifts as they prepare for 2019's Dancing with the Celebrities. Our own Casey Krajewski caught up with 4 of them before the event.
The Career and Networking Center's Dancing with the Celebrities event can be the time of their life for the dancers, and they've got a new lineup of contestants to go with their new name. Practicing at Naperville's My Dance Hub are T2 Asset Management's Paul Novak and his partner, Jana Lilamagi. They're confident Paul's acrobatics will win them the crown.
I want to show you a little bit about what we have so far. So good, right? So good,
Perfect.
right?
Nailed it.
We've been working about 4 months on that. It's fantastic.
Yes.
The Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce's Kara Carpenter has only had a few practices with her partner, Igor Likachov, but that hasn't stopped her from getting ambitious with the routine.
She feels very comfortable with everything.
Oh, yeah.
She want to do a lot of different things, and I'm like, maybe we should keep it for now.
I wanted to pull out all the tricks, so.
While Kara and Igor may have the tricks, BMO Harris Bank's Gerald Lewis and partner Brianna Nalivaichuk say they've got the teamwork to take the title.
We're feeling good.
I think we have a winning routine here.
I think so. He's got a lot of charisma, a lot of personality out on the floor. He brings it totally on performance
She's got all the
day.
professional skills, so I think we're good.
We're a good match.
Yeah.
Arthur Murray's Luke Malashevsky and Itsy Ritzy's Kelly Meyer Douglas are looking to win the Grand Mirror Ball this year and are confident in their chances.
We're not ranking ourselves.
Yeah, we're not ranking ourselves. I mean, they all have really good second and third place routines. So.
See what I had to put up with?
Every team said they're excited for the September 18th competition, but especially because it's helping a great cause.
Oh, we're so blessed and so happy to be benefiting the Community Career Center in Naperville. They do a fantastic job with local outreach and giving back in the local area. So we're honored, privileged.
For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
Best of luck to all the dancers, and tune in next week for a preview of the other 4 pairs. A Naperville business turned a car accident into a beautiful piece of art. When a vehicle crashed into the side of Greg Gordon's Dogpatch Pet and Feed store in May, a new opportunity presented itself.
The gentleman came in, bought a bag of dog food and left, and headed right back in, and we thought maybe we had done something wrong with the register. And he asked if we had ever thought about putting a mural on the wall, because that's what he does.
The wall quickly transformed from having a hole to plain brown, and eventually into a completed mural of a cat and dog chasing a ball. A flag behind the pets reads "Adopt," a core value of the store, which has sold only rescue animals for the past 9 years. So far, the feedback has been all positive. The mural was recently accepted as the 51st piece of art included in Naperville's Century Walk. And they're not done yet. Gordon plans to add another mural to one of the walls inside the store and potentially something on the west exterior wall as well. But if you want to have a look at the mural, Gordon has some advice.
Just come on and check it out. Be careful on the highway out here on Ogden. Occasionally someone slows down to take a look. So get in the parking lot, it's a lot safer.
A GoFundMe page to help pay for the Dogpatch mural raised more than $2,000. If you've driven through the Gateshead neighborhood in South Naperville, you may have noticed a lot of red porch lights. Our own Christine Lena has the story behind them.
In October of last year, 10-year-old Olivia Parker was diagnosed with stage 4 glioblastoma. But since her battle began, she's had an entire neighborhood turning on their support.
It really came from Olivia, knowing that her favorite color was red, and we knew all the treatment she was going through. So it was around Christmas time right before that, but we said, hey, what if everybody had red lights up? That way when she was going to and from all of her treatments, she could actually see her favorite color and hopefully put her in a better mindset.
Through an anonymous donation, the Flynns were able to get hundreds of red light bulbs and hand them out to the neighborhood.
We've always been a pretty close-knit neighborhood, but when something happens to one of our own, everybody kind of steps up and does what they can do.
For the Parkers, that community support brought some needed brightness into their lives.
It was just amazing to see all the red lights. To drive down the street, I used to cry every single time. And not because it made me sad, but because it just was so overwhelming.
But it's not just the lights that have helped. T-shirts and other fundraisers have been held for the family, with a few extra gifts along the way.
I've gotten so many stuffed animals. It's amazing.
But the past year has taught the Parkers a lot. Olivia learned that only 4% of federal funding goes toward pediatric cancer. It made her so upset that now she's motivated to take on her last round of chemotherapy and get ready to go advocate.
We've talked about going to Springfield for that.
Yeah.
Probably some discussions about DC at some point for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
You know, these kids are looking at this and going, we deserve better. So I think that's another hope from, you know, a whole nother level of the red lights and anything that we can do to start that conversation.
And through it all, the 11-year-old hasn't lost her sense of humor, putting a hard fight in a good light. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Christine Lena.
Olivia's friends have also contributed to helping fight pediatric cancer, donating to Lurie's Children's Hospital, where she's being treated. Up next, you'll get a lift from hearing our latest sports feature.
Welcome back to the game show, Who Is It? Today our contestant Sally is in the process of figuring out which one of our panelists is the real Crime Stopper. Sally, you have one more question for each panelist, then you will need to decide.
Number 1, when I call Crime Stoppers with a tip, do I need to leave my name?
Absolutely not. You remain anonymous.
Number 2, if my tip leads to an arrest, what's in it for me?
A cash reward for up to $1,000 for one thing.
And number 3, what is the Crime Stoppers tip line?
630-420-6006.
So who is it? Oh, sorry, time's up. Sally, we need your decision. Who's the real Crime Stopper?
They all are.
You're right, but how did you know?
'Cause I'm a Crime Stopper too.
After losing 70 pounds, Idessa Butler fell in love with powerlifting at Achieve Personal Fitness.
For Idessa, she just had a propensity to be lifting very heavy, like a lot heavier than like your average person in a lot of the lifts that she did. So to me, it was like a natural kind of progression for her to maybe consider something that involves strength.
And I had never heard of powerlifting a day in my life, and so he was like, well, let's give it a try. So he incorporated it in my first couple of programs, and I started to like it, and I really started to like it, and then we started talking about competition. And I was like, I've never competed in my life. So after I did my first competition, it was like, okay, I want to continue to do this.
At her second competition, Summer Bash in Lombard, Butler competed in the squat, deadlift, and bench press and exceeded all expectations.
My goal was to exceed what I did in my previous meet. So in my previous meet, I was able to lift 303.1. So in this meet, I was able to lift 308. And so I think that that's what pushed me over and helped me to win first.
It's not very common for people to win their second or third ever powerlifting meet, and so she obviously did really, really well.
Along with the new medals, Butler also now takes home something else from the gym.
It gives you like some confidence to kind of keep going even outside of the gym. So like work, you know, your personal life, it gives you that confidence that you need, you know, on days when you're like, I don't know if I really should be doing this or not. You know, so when you're questioning yourself, it gives you that boost of energy.
Ryan Giovanno, owner of Achieve and one of Idessa's coaches, speaks to how rare Idessa's story is, coming in and loving the sport. He also acknowledges how uncommon it is for her to do this as a female.
I think just powerlifting specific to women is, I think, a really great goal for a lot of women to shoot for because it gets them in the gym lifting weights, which is typically a male domain.
It motivates me to keep going. In my last meet, I was competing with the men's master class. That was my first time seeing them lift. The men's master class is like 40 and up, and seeing their prep into going and lifting, and I was like, oh, but seeing them lift 600, 700, 800 pounds, I was like, whoa, that's a lot. But it gives you something to, you know, to look forward to and to say, wow, you know, I can do that as well.
Butler is continuing to push to get better and recruit more females to join her in the powerlifting community.
I thought it would be a good goal for her to shoot for, to kind of like give her like that next step in her training, but she's totally, completely bought in. Like, she's the one recruiting other people now to do it, and I think that's awesome to have a predominantly women powerlifting team.
And so now I've been here for almost 3 years, and I'm happy with my progress. I'm happy with the people that I've met, and just, you know, knowing that I'll always have a home here.
Breaking down stereotypes and lifting up the world of female weightlifters. Reporting for Sports Story Sunday, I'm Allie Coletta.
And if you have an idea for a Sports Story feature, you can let us know at newstips@nctv17.com. There's a striking new challenge for some Naperville Central high schoolers. From a close distance, a strike seems somewhat achievable, but from 250 feet, it's a different story. Inspired by Dude Perfect bowling videos on YouTube, teacher and head boys bowling coach Brian Dunn wanted to create a challenge for his students to bowl through the school's parking lot.
I've been wanting to figure out new ways to celebrate student success in my classroom. Let's see if we can get students excited about working in the classroom, and let me celebrate what they can do by giving them an opportunity to come out and do what they see on YouTube and everywhere else.
Once a week, 3 students who demonstrate success in the classroom will get a chance to bowl. If a student makes the shot, they'll be put on Dunn's Wall of Fame and then into an end of the semester drawing for prizes. He says some surprised Naperville celebrities or even PBA professional bowlers may stop by to give it a try. Dunn says there are 2 different tricks to get a strike on the parking lot lane, but it's all about having the right touch. And that's what's happening right here in your neighborhood, Naperville. We'll see you next week. Until then, you can catch up on local news by signing up for our NCTV 17 news update delivered right to your inbox Monday through Friday. Sign-up information is right on our website, nctv17.com.
This week's Naperville News 17 is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. This program is partially funded by a grant from the City of Naperville.